the collaborative law kind of process begins with an agreement between, say, for instance, me and my spouse, and then the entire team that we have kind of surrounding us?
Yeah, so there's this collaborative participation agreement that A.J. mentioned, and it says, okay, here's the team. Each person, each of the spouses has a collaborative attorney. All of the information that flows between the client and the attorney is still completely confidential. This is another thing that people need to be very aware of. If they say something to one of the other two participants, the financial neutral or the mental health neutral, because they're neutral, it's not confidential. So I have to coach my clients. If it's something that you want to be kept confidential, you only talk to your attorney about it. So those are the participants in the participation agreement. And then it'll say things like, okay, everything said in the process is confidential. In those meetings, it'll say that no participant in the collaborative process can be called to testify. Like if it fails and goes to litigation, you can't call the mental health neutral and say, well, isn't it true this was said or that was said?
Right.
So it puts a lot of safeguards around the process. It tells everybody this is what it looks like from step by step, and it also says how it ends and how that if it does end, this is what happens. And so it's an important document for the collaborative process.
That's so cool that within collaborative law, there's an agreement that includes multiple sources, resources, and support essentially for the client. So I think that is so cool within itself, just because going through any sort of family, anything, to be able to have a group of experts essentially within each of their niches to kind of lift you up and support you and to guide you through a process that you are completely uncertain about, I think is it's hard to see the pitfalls. I think the pitfalls you said was more so on the attorney's side. But for me, the individual, if I want to fight against my husband, I have to get another lawyer. Okay, that's not really a call for me. I have this big support group that hopefully I won't ever have to go down that path at all. So I think
Right.
that's really, really interesting.
And Vyky, you bring up a really good point, right? So not only do you have this core group, right, and even in a collaborative process, it can still be very emotional and very difficult, right? So having the mental health neutral there to be able to meet either one-on-one or together, the couple, to walk through this process is huge. It's so important. And that you don't have that typically in a traditional dissolution of marriage matter. But on top of the core group that's there, oftentimes something will arise through the process, right? Where you need to bring in another collaboratively trained individual, right? So, and those can be people that we call them allied professionals. And that can be someone, maybe there's an immigration issue, maybe there's a tax issue, maybe there's, some bankruptcy issues or, I don't know, some appraisal issues on a home that the financial neutral can't really get involved in or needs to go deeper with. So there's other collaboratively trained, what we call allied professionals that we can reach out to that can assist. That can also include, let's say there's, the mental health neutral needs to refer one or both of the couples or the individuals to get some specialized counseling about a specific issue that they're dealing with through the process or through the separation or the collaborative process. Then we can draw them in as well. So you start with this core group that have all been collaboratively trained.
And I'm so sorry, but when you say this core group, who all makes up a team? Go ahead.
Again, so it's the couple, then it's the two attorneys. Each participant, each of the parties have their own attorney that are collaboratively trained, and then you have the mental health neutral and the financial neutral. That is the core team.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's the allies are really important too, but I think it's probably maybe less than half the cases that require an allied professional. Like I had a collaborative case recently, And we very quickly came to agreement on what the parties wanted. And they owned a business, and the husband wanted to continue to pay his wife a salary from the business, so she in lieu of alimony. And then when he sold the business, she would still get a percentage of the profit from the sale. So we had to bring in these business lawyers and a valuation expert, and bring those allies in.
Now, were they collaboratively trained?
Yes, they were collaboratively trained.
I've been saying
sure.
that word way too much. I knew it was going to happen.